See you. Wake up and rise, open your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday, work it out Wednesday, pay it forward Friday. What season the day? Digital finance, harmony of love, serving food the what goes to rising as the beat and it Eastern on P2G TV. Breakfast with the Thomases, come eat with me.
Once again, welcome to Work It Out Wednesday. Breakfast with the Thomases. How y'all doing? Grand Rising.
Hello, family. What's going on?
You all know me. I'm Miss Ruby, y'all. I am one of the beautiful, wonderful husband and wife duo, Breakfast with the Thomases, y'all.
The dynamic duo.
I love it. And today we have a great guest on with us today. So I'm kind of gonna give y'all a little bit of taste of what it's like to be in the world of the Breakfast of the Thomases when we're around the folks that make this world happen. So we're going to introduce you to a really great friend of ours, Mr. Cornell Green of 21st Century Commune IT Solutions. It's too dang early, man. It's too dang early. Go on, give us some love, brother.
Hey. Well, first of all, Grand Rising, my good friends and brethren and sistren. Good morning to you and the Breakfast with the Thomases fan base out there, seeing us live or watching the rebroadcast. And it is my pleasure to be here this early in the morning. I'm actually kind of surprised. I'm actually conscious before the rooster crows.
Well, one of the things we wanted to get with you earlier. And life being what life is, we had to reschedule a few things. But I'm so excited to be in this conversation with you. And Cornell Green, we've been friends for so many years. It's like
it's about, I think this is going on next year will be the 15th year.
Yep.
Wow.
I counted. I'm just kidding.
I had no idea it was even that long. But
yes.
Sure. Yeah. It feels like yesterday. I don't feel that old. I feel really wonderful.
Well, actually, it doesn't feel like yesterday because my beard was all dark back when we met. So the passage of time sort of marks itself on my face.
I think a little bit for all of us.
No, I see. You see how clean my face is? I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah. Get on with it, buddies.
Okay, but now let's really get into the conversation today. I mean, I am so pumped to be here with you, and I know my wife loves being with you. I hear y'all guys talk so much about everything.
Yeah.
First thing I want to introduce y'all guys to Cornell Green, the author of Do Business Better, was one of his first writing. And tell us, when you created Do Business Better, what was the reason you created that particular book?
Okay, well that's a very interesting story. Do Business Better, the subtitle of which is Why Small Businesses Fail and How Not to. There's the first half of the content, and then there's why I put it into a book. Okay, so roll back 1993. I was an unemployed musician living in New Jersey. I was 32 years old. I'd moved down there in my 20s to chase my rock and roll dreams. And as you can tell by the videos of mine you've never seen, how successfully that didn't go. My cousin, who I hadn't spoken to in 4 years, left a message on my girlfriend of 3.5 years answering machine telling me to give him a call. And I was like, wait a minute, he hasn't spoken to me longer than we've been seeing each other. What do you mean he left a message on your answering machine? So I feared that maybe it was some bad news. Maybe somebody died, and I hate to admit this, but I was like thinking, okay, look, don't let it be somebody that I care about too much. But basically, long story short, hey, I'm just keeping it real. So he answers the phone. Hey, how you doing? Quite casually. He's like, okay, so it's not bad news. He asked me if I was working. I told him, no, I'm not working. I'm on public assistance. I'm riding a bike 26 miles a day, 4 days a week to get to community college. Why do you ask? He's like, well, I'm working at Lehman Brothers doing the hardware support for the servers, and there's an opening for Unix system administrator. I was like, okay, the only thing I understand about what you just said was job. I don't know what Unix is or what a system administrator is. What are you talking about? He's like, well, I think you should come get this job. It's like, well, you heard the part about I haven't worked in 2 years.
Like, wow.
International finance company's not going to hire me to do some technical thing so complex I don't even know what it is. Well, long story short, 5 interviews later, somehow in February of 1993, I started working at Lehman Brothers.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so I've been doing IT. Now, everything went lovely, some peaks and valleys. I mean, that first month was the first time the World Trade Center was bombed in February of 1993. I worked at Lehman for 4 years, worked for a year with a company that was flying forth to the Midwest, worked with Payne Weber for 4 years during the Y2K conversion, left that to work with a colleague of mine who I knew from my Lehman Brothers days.
Right.
And we were working at an office in downtown Manhattan, 80 Maiden Lane. And then September of 2001, we remember what happened there. And I had the unfortunate pleasure of being 5 blocks away from the first tower when it collapsed. So flash forward to 2006, trials and tribulations, had a bit of a meltdown due to the trauma of all of that. I get another call from this same friend of mine asking if I had been working. I hadn't been working in about 3 years. He says, you remember that place you used to go to once a week when you were working for us? Well, their full-time IT guy is about to leave. I can put you in the seat.
Ooh,
so it's like, oh, okay. So that was fine. And they ended up hiring me out from under his subcontract to the best salary I ever made, over 6 figures. I was IT manager. I was in charge of everything from the firewall to the desktop. I rebuilt their infrastructure. It was pretty amazing. And then came the subprime mortgage meltdown. And when you are an architectural design firm, which is they were, and there's no real estate market, kind of your business takes a hit. So I shot my resume around figuring I might have to take a little cut, but the first offer wanted me to be, network administrator, which is what I was. IT manager, which is what I was. They wanted me to also be network administrator. It's like, hold up. Database administrator. So wait, that's 3 and help desk operator. No, 4 jobs. IT manager, network administrator, database administrator for 80% of the one salary I had just been making so I was like, keep it pushing.
Yeah, we good.
But then the next 3 job offers that came in were exactly the same. And I realized, hold up a second. No, like I used to say, just keep it a real family. I was like, if you're going to work me like my name is Toby, I got to be the one holding the whip.
Seriously.
And that's why I formed this consultancy, 21st Century Human IT Solutions. And as I wrote in the introductory chapter to Do Business Better, 2 years of steady referrals almost ruined my business.
Right.
Now, why do I say that? Because before I got laid off from my last full-time job, I got a referral to my first client. It was an art gallery in Chelsea, here in Manhattan. And I got steady work. And I got referrals from them. In fact, I got second-generation referrals from referrals. And so for 2 years, I just answered the phone, did the work, and thought life is good. This is almost as good as before I lost the job. And then after 2 years, the phone stopped ringing. And I realized 2 things. A, I was not the one making the phone ring. And B, I didn't know how to make the phone ring. And I realized at that point that I had not been doing business for 2 years. I had been doing work for 2 years, because whatever it is that we do, sell, or offer, that's not the business. The business is selling it to the next customer.
Right.
Because like I said, Mommy, where do customers come from? Well, they don't come from just sitting by and passively waiting for the phone to ring. So let's just say that 3rd year was kind of a very lean year. And actually, in that first into the 2nd year, that was when I met Ruby, because I was doing workshops at Harlem Business Alliance. And Ruby attended one of my workshops. And the rainmaker that she is, she says, "Hey, you and I should talk." And
Right.
we got together, and with a third colleague of ours, George Williams Jr., we formed a little consortium called Black Tech Initiative. And we were having a breakfast one day at George's and his wife's at the time, timeshare in the Berkshires. And this is when Ruby dropped the little gem in my brain. She says, "Well, you don't just have workshops, a series of workshops. You've got a curriculum."
It does.
And as I like to say, at that moment, I didn't know whether I should kiss her or kick her under the table, because it was like, you're not wrong. But again, like with Unix back in '92, I knew what curriculum was according to the dictionary, but I didn't have a teaching degree. So it's like, so I got to learn what a curriculum is and how to, and all that. So again, she wasn't wrong. I didn't disagree with her. And that is why now I have a online education website that I'm working on, going to be launching next spring. I've done a series of workshops, and came out of writing that book, which was about the mistakes that I had learned in those 2 years, and why the subtitle is "Why Small Businesses Fail and How Not to," is I realized the mistake I was making from just answering the phone and not mastering the fundamentals of business. Because a lot of people think, "Oh, I'm good at what I do. I've been doing this for a salary for X number of years or even decades, so I can just go carry my little red wagon behind me and hang my shingle, and that should be good, right? And the customers will just come flowing in like magic."
Nah, that's not how it works.
Let me jump in here real quick, Cornell. I want to ask you a question. One of the things, and I find this to be your calling card, for lack of a better term. If it isn't on your calendar, it doesn't exist. And you speak to
If
that.
it's not on the list, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, say it again so people are
If
here.
it's not on the list, it doesn't exist. And what I was talking about is I literally live by my calendar. It's like, for those of you old enough to remember the old MASH TV show, and you had the guy Corporal Radar O'Reilly, and he would remind all the commanders of the thing what they had to do, like he was reading their mind. Well, my calendar is my Radar O'Reilly. I literally have no idea what I'm doing unless I consult my calendar. So I have to put it in there. And what do I say to you guys when you're talking to me and you say, "Let's do this and a third"? I say, send me a calendar invite. Because 20 minutes from now, I'm not even going to remember that we had this conversation. And I'm going to tell on myself here. I was supposed to be last week's guest.
Yeah.
But I didn't put it in my calendar.
No calendar, no event.
So it's
and look, but we're glad to have you. Oh my God, I'm so glad we got you. Look, this was exciting to have him come on to the program, because this is I was glad because I get to present y'all with one of my really cool friends that is freaking amazing to me. Every time I turn around, this man is evolving some new part of what he does, and it's not like he's got to learn something new. One, he's always learning, but two, he's always evolving to serve more folks. You know what I'm saying? To serve, and in ways, oh my God, in ways that make them feel powerful. He is actually empowering and emboldening new businesses that have been in service to us for some time. Absolutely. But they didn't quite have the edge that we as Black business, as well as business in our community, needed. This brother's putting stuff into their space in the backgrounds that change their whole caliber for what they can afford, because you know how sometimes we get priced out of really good services. But this brother is right now, as long as he can eat properly, and you got to give, like they say, you got to give the servicemen respect due on the service that he does. And in my opinion, they don't pay you enough, baby. They don't pay you enough.
Well, we're working on that.
They don't even know yet that they don't pay you enough.
Yes. Well, I wrote a little short book that I called Money Matters, and that's like a condensation of my workshop, Get Paid Faster. And one of the things that I say off the rip, I don't even have to know you. If I just met you, I say your price is too low. Whatever it is you're charging, it doesn't matter. Your price is too low. Right. Because when it comes to money, we almost have like an emotional kind of thing about it. And we feel that we're asking for money. No. You are offering professional services for which you must get paid. Right. Full stop. Your dentist doesn't negotiate prices for putting in a crown.
They sure don't. They'll
Your
show
doctor
you.
doesn't negotiate how much they're going to get paid for surgery because they
You're right.
know the value of their services.
That's right.
And we must also, and thank you for that shout out to Ruby, we must know the value of our services. And what Ruby's talking about is I develop, what my business is about is I develop web platforms for solo entrepreneurs and small business owners and operators, not
Yeah.
websites.
Right. There
All
was
of
a
the things that you get, like ClickFunnels or Constant Contact or Shopify or all of these things, if you think about it, those are just software services provided through a web page,
Yep.
Shopify.com, whatever, what have you. Well, I build a platform with using open source technology where you own all of those functions. You don't have to pay by the month. Because think about it, you get ClickFunnels, you got to pay Russell Brunson every month, whether you get a single click in your funnel.
Yep.
Okay. With the platforms I build, you own the platform. And if nobody clicks, you've already paid your annual thing. And if 100 people or 1,000 people click, you don't pay any more because you already own the platform and the functions.
That's powerful.
See, I'm sorry. I just gotta let y'all know straight up. This brother right here inspired us to turn our website into a kind of a hub for others who. So maybe you can't get the whole website built, but you want to be a part of a network. P2G Networks is building that hub where your business can exist as its own entity, but still be connected to a network that promotes you too. See, because we think alike. And with that, when you got people who are innovating for the community like this, it's like, why everybody got to have a separate website?
Why it's got to be a competition?
That's right. You know how people making money on Amazon? Well, we need to have our own hub like Amazon where we all promote each other. By the time someone comes to get your product, they don't found all the other products, and now they've done their whole shopping in a community.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Baby.
And in fact, that's why I call my business
That's right.
Commune IT Solutions.
Yes.
It's community solutions using IT. It's not about the IT. In fact, just like Federal Express is referred to as FedEx, my business commonly is referred to as just Commune IT Solutions because we're already 25% in the 21st century. We already know. I formed my LLC in 2006 when it was, no, we're in the 21st. We know. We get it. We know the calendar. The year starts with a 2. It's about the community. That's right. And as Ruby said, I worked for, those prestigious Wall Street firms. My last full-time job, the architectural design firm, their private clients were Steven Spielberg, Jerry Seinfeld, the United Nations, the W Hotel chain, and Yale School of Architecture. So I took those corporate level skills, and when I had to break out and form this company, I had a choice. I could have leveraged my Wall Street and high fintech, connections and worked for that clientele. But I asked myself, who has been bringing the caliber of technical skills I have to our community, to our people? Now, real talk, I ain't making the 6 figures that I was making back in the day yet.
Right.
Okay. But it's not about the money. It's about delivering the value. And I believe that if you bring the value to the people, you will get paid for the value that you deliver. And in fact, there's a little slight promotion here. Al mentioned that Do Business Better is my first book. I'm currently working on my second book, which is entitled Born Again Capitalist. The subtitle is Run a For-Profit Business Without Sacrificing Your Soul. Because we see the political climate that we are here nationally and internationally. And somehow this wrongful message is that you have to be a hard-headed, heartless so-and-so in order to make that money. That is false, and that is a lie. And we know with the community, I don't want to give negative promotion, but here's the thing. Current administration gets in, many companies claw back on their DEI, including Target. But you look at Target stock value, okay, from February to April, it dropped like 25%, and it is still flat since then because we, the Black community, realize that if we have $1.7 trillion in purchasing power,
that's right,
then we take our money somewhere else. You don't disrespect me and think I'm going to come in and shop on your shelves. Okay. Right. So now what we need to learn as the community is that $1.7 trillion of purchasing power is $1.7 trillion of investment power into our own community. That's as I like to say, ain't nobody coming because we already here.
That's right. You always say it. We already here.
Yes.
We got this. The fact is we don't just have the purchasing power. We also have the choice. And as we
Yes,
begin
thank
to
you.
make the choice, make those choices collectively, we can see the change we've been asking for. We've been told you don't have to beg for change, you just got to create it. You have to decide.
Exactly.
So and this is
Exactly.
so let me Mr. Thomas has been trying to get a question out. Go ahead, baby.
No. I really
We
want
can talk all day.
I know. I really want to. I want them to get a chance to look at the Failure Guy, the Failure Guy
Okay.
podcast. Create.
Are we using the clip?
Yeah.
Are you ready to run your clip?
You want to promo the clip? Tell us what we're going to see.
Well, let's throw over the clip, and then we'll talk about what the Failure Guy is about.
Okay, cool.
And as I'm listening to you, I'm reflecting that one of the things that for the dominant caste, say it again, the dominant caste.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to mention a book here. So, Dominant Caste Supremacy Culture.
Okay.
This is a phrase that comes from the book Caste: The Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson.
Okay.
So this is her second book. She is an incredibly well-researched writer, and the book it's like a huge mega lift on your brain. So I'm not going to say it's a casual.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not an airport book that you're going to read on the flight between New York and Chicago, and Chicago or San Francisco. But what stands out to me is that we particularly, and I always think of things, being a man, I think of things in terms of what we need to create that safe space for men to get out of the toxic culture. Is we need to be able to, and as you're assessing, looking at your business, looking at how it works, assessing performance, is we need to find a way of facing challenge without conflict. Because when you confront the dominant caste supremacy culture, the tendency is that they react as if there's conflict there. And no, I'm challenging established norms that maybe need to be rethought, paradigms that need to be restructured. I'm not challenging you as a person. Like when you speak of, say, for example, endemic racism, which still exists in American society. And then you'll get the second generation European who will say, well, my parents never owned slaves. It's like, yeah, but you're part of the paradigm. And first of all, I'm not accusing you of anything. So I'm not looking for an apology from you. I'm looking for you to stop pretending that you don't see what is there so that we can restructure it. And
all right.
Yeah.
Talk to us. What was that about? That was deep.
So that is a clip from my podcast, which is titled The Failure Guy. And I'm Cornell Green, and I am the Failure Guy, where failure is an acronym that expands to first attempts in learning using real experience. And it occurred to me back in 2017. I was thinking that I wanted to do a podcast about failure, not about failing, but about examining failure. I mean, the subtitle of my first book, Why Small Businesses Fail and How Not to. Okay. So at the time, I'm walking around listening to a podcast in my earbuds, and I hear that Columbia University at the Teachers College is having a 2-day lecture series on the success of failure. And I thought, okay, that's kind of kismet. I'm thinking about it. So I attended that. And then I talked to my brain trust about I was thinking of launching this podcast. And you would have thought I told people that I was standing on the ledge of a 20th story building's roof and I was about to jump. They're like, no, don't call it failure. No, Cornell, don't. You're so young. And it's like, you see the way you're reacting, just hearing the word failure. That's why I have to have this podcast and I have to call it The Failure Guy. Because as I say, you two are both parents of two very lovely young ladies.
Yeah.
And so, it takes about a year for a child to learn how to walk.
Yep.
And every attempt of walking until they can walk is failure. But they don't give up. They're just sort of like, first they got to learn their balance and then how to take a step and then, alternate the feet. Okay, that's a good tip. And you ever notice, and I love this about looking at toddlers, you ever notice how kids learn to dance before they learn to walk?
To walk, yeah.
Music comes in and says, that's my jam. That's my jam. There we go. But I say, if children looked at failure the way adults do, we would all still be crawling on our hands and feet.
Exactly. And the thing is,
and you guys know from the work that you do with businesses, especially with the audience of this podcast, a lot of people, it's not that they try and fail. It's that they don't even try because of their fear of failure.
Ooh, say that again.
Yes, they do not try and fail. They fail because they don't even try because of their fear of failure.
And that right there is that's like the whole job, my whole job as an educator and a coach, to help people understand that that there's nothing stopping them from acquiring anything they have ever wanted. Everything that they've ever wanted has been on the other side of their fear, and their fear of it, something totally invisible, something made up. Because we've been told that, oh, don't get it wrong, don't fail, don't, you got to be perfect, you got to get it right. And so getting through make them understand that, look, I'm on my wealth journey, and yes, I've lost money several times, thousands of dollars. Yes. But on the journey is about the build. It's not about the acquisition. It's never been about the acquisition. And I
see Lulu in the chat just shouted out. She said, "Me."
Yeah, me. That's right, baby. Me.
And see, that's the first step to success, is just acknowledging that fear. And that's why I have to do a podcast where I discuss with people who are successful, but we talk about. In fact, Ruby has been a guest on my podcast. And what did you say? My mistakes make me money.
Exactly. Look, I'm in the money business. The mistakes are the stuff that makes me the most money. It just has always been. And thank you for reminding me. I could bring that to class.
Oh, see, I was doing some research on your Failure Guide podcast, and I went through a couple of them. And the gentleman, forgive me, I can never remember his name because it's just not sick. But he had said that he wasn't even sure he was in the right business to be in the business, and he wasn't an administrator, but he had been in corporate America for over 23 years, and then he got restructured. He had to reassign his whole lifestyle, and he started teaching people. I think it's like the second podcast on your list, and I skimmed through a couple of them, and I was like, wow,
that sounds like it's something like a midlife reset, and I love it. But it's not easy. It's when you come into that realization that maybe we've been running on the road for too long, and this really isn't what's us. Let's assess how many people are willing to stop and assess.
Right.
Babies don't assess their next move. They just try it.
Yeah. See, because so many of us, we get caught up in thinking that what we do is who we are.
Exactly.
And so we get caught up in the identity of, I've been a burr. Because here's the funny thing. When you met me, Ruby, and in fact, I did some subcontracting, what I was doing in this independent consultancy was what I had done in corporate America, which was server support.
Right.
Supporting machines, physically supporting them operationally. I worked for, of course, small architectural firms a lot because my last employer was an architectural design firm. Here's the thing. Why don't most small businesses have a computer in their offices anymore? Because everything went into the cloud. In fact, that's why I tell the tale. I'm sitting at breakfast after like the second year, the phone stopped ringing. I'm having dinner with some friends of mine from high school, and I'm crying in my beer back when I used to drink beer, and I'm saying, the phone's not ringing. I'm not getting any work, and people keep asking me about this website stuff. And my friend sitting across from the table says, "Well, Cornell, you've been working with the web since it existed, and you used to have to download this software and compile it from code." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not like a web designer guy." And they said, "Hold on, let me get this straight. Let me see if I'm hearing you right. You're complaining that you're not getting work,
right?
And people are asking you to do something that you can do, that they will pay you to do, and you're saying no."
Exactly.
I love telling this story because I literally, the next words out of my mouth was, "So I should say yes?" And the reason why I mentioned that this friend was sitting across the table from me was because they were the kind of friend, had they been sitting next to me, they literally would have slapped me in the back of the head and say, "Are you stupid?
Did you guys just say yourself?
But those are the real friends.
Take the money."
Thank you.
So, I have this thing that none of this was my idea anyway. So much of the milestones in my life actually were somebody else's idea. Remember I mentioned that I was in New Jersey trying to be a musician, playing the bass. It wasn't my idea. I met a kid from New Jersey, a white kid from Monmouth County, New Jersey, Bruce Springsteen territory, in 1978. We were campers in upstate New York in Saugerties. And he talked me out of sheer exuberance. And he's like, hey, you got a nice voice. We worked out some songs. We did some harmony together. He says, I'm looking to put a band together. It's like, that's nice. Good luck with that. He's like, I'm looking for a bass player. It's like, hope you find one. And he kept telling me this story about the Grateful Dead, how they met their rhythm guitarist in college, taught him to play the thing. It's like, yeah, okay, what's that got to do with me? I've never played the bass. I've never thought of playing the bass. And he just, through just dogged exuberance and, optimism, finally, I just said to him one day in the commissary as we were feeding our campers, I walked over to his table and said, okay, dude, I'll play bass in your band. Remember, he lived 60 miles away from me. He lived in Oakhurst, New Jersey. I lived in Brooklyn. I figured I'm never going to see this guy again after this summer. But I says, dude, I'll play bass in your band. Just never tell me that Grateful Dead story ever again. And the funny thing is, he only told me that story maybe if even a dozen times that summer. Wow. I have since told the story thousands of times in recounting how I ended up becoming a bass player. That was a pivotal point in my life. The chasing music wasn't successful, but living in New Jersey, I wrote a column for an Asbury Park newspaper for 5 years. I was a spoken word poet. I did some amateur stand-up comedy. I was a political activist. I worked with two women who called themselves the Monmouth County Coalition for the Homeless. And we got, this is the end of the Reagan era, the beginning of the first Bush, the perestroika, glasnost, the fall of the Berlin Wall, the end of the Soviet Union. So now they're downsizing the U.S. military. And Fort Monmouth was a very big military base, which now there's not a lot of people there anymore because we don't need this big standing army. So these two women, a Catholic nun and a retired lawyer, went to the freeholders, the heads of that whole, the politics for that whole county of 14 municipalities. And they said, look, you got empty barracks on Fort Monmouth. It's a fort, so it's secure because there's a guard at the gate. You don't have to spend any money. One barracks is the men's shelter. One barracks is the women's shelter. Don't say you can't do something to intervene for the homeless. You don't have to spend any money. Wow. And they got it done, and I was kind of like their secret weapon because I would go with them and speak at the freeholders thing. I would usually be the last person to speak. I would sum up the NIMBY, the not in my backyard objectors, the people who are advocates. And then at one point I got to say, oh, and by the way, I'm a homeless person myself. Because at the time I was living in the basement of the retired lawyer. And they're like, wow, listen to this guy. It's like, you're so articulate and well-spoken. And because I sort of did that as like a magic. It's like, see, I know what you think a homeless person looks like and sounds like.
Right. Exactly.
But I'm a homeless person.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that you can't do something I'm here advocating on the behalf of these people. And that was one of the things I was most proud of, was working with them to get that done. And so you never know what you can do. It's all about having the initiative and always have a brain trust. Always have a brain trust. That's why I'm so glad to be here with the Thomas.
Say that with that, because I love when you say that. Tell people what a brain trust is.
Okay. I like to have a saying. I say, I'm so glad my mind consists of more than one brain. And as I recounted earlier, I am doing my own workshops. I have my own educational content because of just that one conversation over breakfast. And Ruby says, no, you don't just have a loose string of workshops. You've got a curriculum. My brain trust is those group of trusted friends and advisors who I run things through, who feed the ideas. They're the other brains of my mind that give me the ideas. Like, hey, have you ever thought of X, Y, and Z? It's like, no, but now that you say it out loud like that, that's a good idea. See, everybody thinks you've got to be the genius. You got to be the Albert Einstein or the Leonardo da Vinci. That's ridiculous. And again, it comes back to community. That is the power and the strength of community. Nobody goes alone. Like the saying, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, build a team.
Yep.
That's right. That's
Absolutely.
right.
And you out there listening, you are part of the Breakfast with the Thomases community. Don't forget that. This isn't just 3 days a week that you get to come here and listen to these fascinating conversations. You are part of a community. Reach out to the people who are here in the chat. reach out to the Thomases themselves. They're very accessible people. You know, don't think you got to go it alone. How many people? And I want to bring the room down. But I'm just going to share something that everybody remembers. You remember several years ago, two very famous people, Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade. Famous, wealthy, successful, young, beautiful, white. And within months of each other, they committed suicide.
I remember
you would think, wait a minute, I'm trying to get the life they had.
That's right.
So all of the stuff they had, all of the fame and the celebrity and the popularity, they didn't have that community. They didn't have that group of trusted advisors. I don't know what was in their minds. I didn't know them. I didn't really know about them. But clearly they didn't have someone they could lean on. They could say, yo, I'm can you just hear me out for a minute? I'm feeling a bad space. And I know you know me for real. You know, I'm not the person up there on the posters and Entertainment Tonight or the news blurbs or whatever have you. I'm going through it. You hold me down. And these people here, you know, because I know I may look very spiteful. I'm about to turn 65. You know, Medicare is knocking on my door and banging on it. And one time a few months ago, because I'm speaking of platforms, I'm building the new P2G Networks platform online for them. We have several scheduled Zoom meetings, and one day, it was a lovely day, end of the spring, actually end of the summer. I'm walking around, and I totally airheaded the fact that we were having this thing. You know what it was? I had my phone on mute. Because of a thing. I'm walking around doing a little shopping, and I felt the phone buzz, but I didn't realize that a reason I didn't hear anything in my earbuds because the phone was on silent. So I'm coming back on the way home. I pick it up. I'm like, oh my God, I see the text from them. As I'm about to text them, Ruby calls me on the phone, and she's like, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, no, are you okay?
Yeah.
Because you're usually punctual, and you usually pick up your phone. And these guys were parked in front of my apartment. Doing a wellness check on me. Okay, because they're like, hold up a second. First of all, yes, Cornell is always punctual. Second of all, he usually picks up the phone, especially when we call. So I called him twice. He ain't picked up the phone. What's going on?
And we had a booked appointment. It was on the list.
Yes, it was on the list. But see, I airhead, even though it was on the list, I airheaded because I'm low, like 7 days and you know. So that was my bad, but. Having people who hold me down. Okay, who's gonna be there for you? Because I live alone. I'm in a lovely studio apartment here in Harlem. You know, a couple of blocks from the Apollo Theater. I'm literally across the street from the Langston Union. You know, but to have out there who's like, yo, as Al says, like, yo, we coming for you, bro. Don't mess around. Yeah, we right there. And I literally, you know, they're parked in front of their house. You know, these are, and this is what we need. This is what we need. We need that community because money, like I say, money is just an exchange of energy between two or more human beings. If you've got the community, if you've got the personal integrity, if you understand the value that you have to offer to your community, you can make money. Money is the easy part. As these folks talk about, how do you go from money to wealth? You have to have integrity. You have to have a community. You know, one of the things I posted this a couple of years ago on Facebook, and most of my friends, as you might imagine, kind of, if you want to say politically, a little left of center. I posted a simple sentence: "There's no such thing as a self-made billionaire."
Thank you.
And would you know that most of the pushback, the harshest pushback I got was from my left-wing friends? Well, what about Oprah? What about this one? It's like, hey, no. And here's the thing again: this woman here. This is when the first year we were knowing each other. Now, I remember I worked for corporate IT, you know, since my 30s into my 50s at that point. Now I'm going independent. And she dropped a simple concept on me that changed my whole approach to business, to entrepreneurship, to everything. She says, you know that you are part of the community that you do business with.
That's right.
See, I was thinking, me vendor, you customer, never the twain shall meet. And it's like, no.
And it better not be that way.
You ain't going to succeed if you have that sort of separatist. And we see that's what happening to corporate America, bleeding everybody dry. You know, the Dow Jones is going up, but how's your economy going?
Yep.
Has your economy increased 250%? Has your salary increased 250%? I don't think so. So telling me that the Dow Jones is up, I don't care.
Yep.
That does not affect me and mine. We are in a community, like I say, ain't nobody coming because we already here. We are all we need, but we have to change our mindset, which is what these guys work on, especially. So talk about that mindset. Talk about the importance of that and why you guys do what you guys do here.
We just got to jump in some house rules, so we got to let people know, look, we do, Cornell alluded to, Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade. If you're feeling that way and you're feeling triggered about the conversation that's going on, there's a number, either 988 text you can do, or you can just dial 988.
And then cell phone.
Yeah, we at P2G, we have a list of stuff that's in the New York City area if you need to call anybody.
And we can find out if you're not in New York, where you are, where your resources are. So if you feel triggered or you feel like you need to reach out to somebody, we are very serious about this. You just have to reach out to us directly. Text us. We have contact on Facebook, all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, we can get it. And even on our website, if you have to text me directly through the bot on my website, you can do that. The current one, not the one that's coming, because that one's bad. And we invite you in the door. This is a family program because we are family. Every one of us. When you come into this space, you at breakfast with your family. So be here with us,
I told you guys yesterday when I was on this thing, come sit at the table, watch the golden nuggets fall. And that's all you've been getting this day, is Grand Rise. The nuggets are dropping across the table. He hit 4 or 5 major points that are that looms with what you should be thinking about when you're doing business,
And to answer Cornell's question about asking me about our mindset. One of the most important, I had to learn this ahead of time. I was struggling in the very beginning of this journey toward financial independence, really what it is. The financial literacy part didn't even occur to me. We run from the word literacy. Don't ask me why people run from the word literacy. Because our best experiences are always found in our learning. You have so much fun when you learn, but because we have that fear of that failure, we think that learning and failure are a thing. No, learning is failure. That's the whole process of learning. You don't learn till you do fail, and then you get back up and do something, and then it happens. That's called learning. People think it's what you read, what you take in. I teach you guys, no, it's what you put your hands on. I like clay because when I was a kid, we used to like to play with the clay though, because we would mold things, and it would be anything we want. That is your life today. You are molding things, but most of you guys won't put your hands on it because you're afraid someone told you
it'll break.
You could break it. I used to fix Cornell and I, when we connected, we also connected on tech part because I opened a tech company. After I got to the point of daycare with my kids, I decided to go into tech because I love computers. I love the idea, I also was told that same thing everybody else was told. You get a computer, you make a lot of money. And it didn't happen. So I had to go figure it out. I had to get some education. And not only did I want to educate, it inspired me to want a business, not just a job. So my mind, I was evolving. I started recognizing that I thought a certain way. I had a certain environment I was exposed to that actually caused a limitation of my process. No one understood my tech process, so I need to find some friends. And gotta say, and thank you, Ebony Washington, talking about we need to upgrade our friend group, because you do. You have to your friend group. If you don't like where you at, you're gonna have to change your location and the people.
I remember talking to you, and you said to me, if you're the smartest person in your group,
you're in the wrong group.
You're in the wrong group. And I said, wait a minute, but and I'm speaking from my thing. I'm thinking if I'm the one in the group giving the information around, and I'm thinking I'm helping the other person, all you're doing is slowing them down, because some of them have this already always listening to you as the know-it-all. So you need to move on to the next group, and that's what I had to learn. Hanging out with these.
Fam, don't get it twisted. We're not saying to leave people behind.
No.
We're not saying to be judgmental or to adopt the superiority mentality. That's not what we're talking about. You are the energy that you surround yourself with.
Exactly.
And surround yourself with success-minded people. If you got a bunch of people who all they want to do is talk about why they can't, and that ain't going to work, and I tried that before, and that ain't never going to happen, Then are
Yeah.
you surprised that 5 years later you're still stuck on stupid?
Yeah.
You know, surround yourself with people who are positive, who are uplifting. I tell you, you cannot imagine the positivity that I get. I don't necessarily get assistance from what it is that I'm doing with my
Right.
my friendship for almost 15 years with the Thomases, but the fact that they see me as a person who's already successful, and
Yeah.
that allows me to see myself, because we are, remember, human beings are the reflection of who we are in our society, in our context. Think about it. You
Right.
have someone that's in prison, whatever they
Mhm.
did, multiple life sentences, they ain't getting out, they're going to die in a jail cell. What do you do to punish that person?
Mm.
You put them in solitary confinement. Okay,
Mhm.
because they may think that they're a bad mofo, but you're only a bad mofo in context of other people.
That's right.
When you got nothing but four walls and your own reflection, who are you?
How bad can you be?
You're nobody.
That's right.
So
That is
we
it.
are in the who we are in the context of who we are. That's why family is so important. That's why friends are so important. But they've got to be people who encourage you to get out of your limiting beliefs, your down talking, because let's face it, we are our own harshest critics. We can
That's right.
find 527 reasons why we can't, why we didn't. You did this before. This is who you are, and try to give them one reason why they can or they could, and they will argue you against their own success.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes,
So
yes.
we have to surround ourselves with people who will not allow us to play ourselves small. And
That's
that is the
right.
importance of community. And that's why it's the fundamental community solutions. That's why I named my business with that, to remind myself constantly that I'm not here about the money. I'm not here because I can make money. It's technology. But I want to empower and uplift my community in the process of doing money. The money will come to me. That is not the issue. I've already made the six-figure income, so I know I can do it. And I'm a self-taught tech person. All I have, I don't have a college degree or anything. I've got my Stuyvesant High School Regents diploma, class of 77. But, and as Ruby says, I'm always learning. And, I'd like to, the time we have left, talk about a little bit about AI and its proper and improper uses.
We have to give respect
Go
to
ahead.
us. I want to make sure we acknowledge the folks that have been in the space just interacting with us. And
yes.
Guys, I want to say Grand Rising too. We have we got a few beautifuls. Life 2216. Grand Rising, thank you too. We want to say Grand Rising to Miss Hilda. We got and our baby girl. I always call her our baby girl. She's much younger than we are, but she's such an energy, Miss Shonda Lulu. I love her. That's my girl. Also, we got my brother back, Casper in the house, D Karma in the house, Miss Shelby Nicole in the house. Oh, and I see you, Chad. We see you, Chad, coming up in the house. We got folks up in here because we're on multiple platforms. Y'all know we streaming like 8 places right now, right? We ain't playing. This is community. We put it together so that all of us could get this message together and we could get the messages from you all to each other. These are platforms that aren't, some of y'all can't see or feel each other. You know what I'm saying? But this whole conversation has changed how we feel the world now. You get to go on with that. And that's the experience of P2G. I'm like, we created P2G because, like, I hate to say it, I've always been the kid that wanted to create the group so we could keep growing and have fun. I like making new friends, and I love building with new people. Okay, so we invite you all to come in. We actually have some free spaces if you want to come hang out with us on Telegram. We have a new class that's up right now. Session 10 of P2G Digital Financial Literacy is out, and we want you guys to come on in the room. What we're helping people do is get past the mindset of what happened.
Oh no, you got me
like the mindset. 1 second. Get past the mindset of poverty or even lack in this next. You guys are in a position and being set up for one of two things. You can go two ways, and it's by choice now because you're hearing our voices.
Yes.
You can come into a space where you can grow out of this box you've been in and learn how to not only, people keep thinking it's about crypto. It really isn't. It is so much more than crypto.
Yes.
But we teach you systems to identify opportunities and take advantage of them while teaching you how to really learn the tech around it. because this is where we are, guys. This is the tech world we live in now.
Yes.
You and I are the Jetsons. Yes, we are. Yeah. And it is wonderful, but we gotta learn. And so
Yes.
come together and learn on the platform, get supported. Even if you don't get that at home, you now have a home. P2G
Yes.
is the home where you can come and talk to new friends and build new.
And as you said, your friend said you got to upgrade your friend group. We've also got to reprogram our mindset. Okay. And tip it up. And why I wanted to, I didn't want to go in depth about AI, but I just wanted to share this one briefly. First of all, I see that not in terms of us and our use of it, but in terms of, again, Wall Street and the broader market, I see coming next year a burst of the AI bubble. And not that AI is going to go anywhere, but just like, remember in the early aughts, everybody was, all you need is like a .com and just you be online and you make lots of money. It's like, no. I remember they were getting all this venture capitalist funding, and they were buying foosball tables and catering in pizza and stuff. It's like, but what are you going to do with but we got a website. Yeah, but what are you going to do to make money?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of AI. The AI hype bubble is going to bust. But I say to you, our family out there listening, AI, and again, I hearken back to my years as a musician. AI is not the tool. AI is not the instrument. This is the instrument.
Right.
Don't listen to any of this hype about it. He's going to write your book, create your course, run your business. That's all a bunch of nonsense. Overdependence on AI assistants and tools. It's ridiculous. You are the musician. You are the instrument. AI is the amplifier.
Right.
Okay? If I give you an acoustic guitar, you can play nice to a room full of people, but the people across the street can't hear you.
Right.
Now, if I give you a guitar and an amplifier and you don't know how to play the instrument, all you're going to do is annoy your neighbors.
Exactly.
Okay. So calibrate your brain and then understand how you can use AI, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini. I don't care which one it is. This is the tool. Right. AI just gives you the ability to augment and to enhance, to do the things that your brain could do anyway, but in minutes instead of months.
He said that. Oh my God. So okay, guys, we do every Tuesday. There's a for our platform, there is a study hall. We did a study hall. Do you know we put them into Notebook LM? That's what study hall was around yesterday, and that you actually it blew their mind.
Yes.
But the idea was they learned that you have to take your concepts to put into it, so that you can break down certain things that might be a little more complex in simple forms for us to keep building on. And it takes sources. You gotta find it. Doesn't find you sources. You gotta know what you want to do with it, and that's not gonna come from the AI itself. It's like, hey, I want to build $1 million. I want to make $1 million, and in the tech or in AI, tell me how to make $1 million. AI is not going to tell you how to make $1 million.
You need AI. The
prompt. You got to put it together, honey. You got to have the foundation.
Yes. And thank you, Ruby, because that is, in my opinion, that is probably the best tool for entrepreneurially minded people and people who are looking to level up their game and reprogram their brain. Because it, like the song says, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. It takes what you are looking at, the sources that you provide. And I'll just really quickly, I'm working on my third book after my second book is done. It's called Shaken to the Core, how the Yakuza became the hidden heroes of the great Japanese Eastern earthquake.
Wow.
And I was watching something on, there's a YouTube channel called List 25. And there's like 25 things you didn't know about whatever. And one of the things was during the 2017 tsunami and earthquake that led to the Fukushima nuclear power incident, the first responders was not the Japanese government. It was the Yakuza.
Wow.
They came in with food and water and diapers and medical supplies. And then I was like, wow, that's crazy. That would make an interesting book. And I was lying in bed. I literally jumped out of bed. I went on, I did some research. I downloaded some PDFs. I went to some websites. I printed them as PDFs to feed them into Notebook LM.
Right.
And in, a couple of hours, I had an outline for this book. And in fact, the title came from my Notebook LM. But I didn't say, write me a book about that. I still have to write the book.
A book. Exactly.
But what it did, and it gave me ideas and concepts like there's predicted a fifth wave of crime that's going to come by 2040, which is going to be crime goes digital. It's going to be digital. It's going to be electronic fraud. It's going to be real estate scheme. And electronics and AI gives crime the ability to go transnational. Okay. But also it's exploring the gray area, that there are some places in Japan, in China, in Russia, here in the United States, where the best assistance that the citizens get are from the criminal organizations.
Wow.
Because they work more directly with the people. And it's kind of tragic, but it's true across the globe, where the criminal organizations actually care more and intervene more directly on behalf of the citizens than the so-called government does. Now, this, trust me, I am not saying that government is invalid. I'm not saying all become crime bosses. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that I was just thinking, this is an interesting thing that happened, that the Yakuza were the first responders. But by feeding it these sources, thousands of pages that I would still be reading and then transfer, it gave me the insight to now know, because I was like, that's an interesting book. But at the time, what is the book? Because just writing about that, that's reportage. That's an article. That's not a book.
Right.
But then I asked, okay, so what are the other organizations? I didn't know that the Bratva was the equivalent in Russia. I didn't know that the Yakuza actually are not pure Japanese people. Most of the Yakuza are Japanese Chinese people or Japanese Korean people. Because you know how Japan is about the pure bloods. Basically, they say Japanese are the white people of Asia. So they were the outliers. They were the outcasts. The same with the Bratva. It's always the outcasts that they have to do the gray market things that are put down and put upon by the people, you know, by the official, by the rich, by the wealthy, by the politically involved. And then they got even here in the United States.
You're not giving away your book. Y'all get the book. Follow Cornell.
I ain't worried about it because remember, that's just ideas. Ideas don't make the book, just like AI didn't write the book for me. It just gave me the outline of the book I'm going to write. And if somebody else wants to write a book on the same topic, I'm not scared. There's not one book on math. There's not one book on computers. There's not one book on web technology. And see, this is the other thing we have to get past. Remember, coopetition. This is a phrase I got from George Williams Jr. Okay. My people who do what I do are not my competition. I do web development. I cannot develop a web platform for everybody that needs a web platform. So why would I try to act like, see, this is the thing why I say born again capitalists, get away from that monopolistic mindset that I must dominate the market and crush the competitors. No, because when things are booming, you need overflow partners. When you get so much business, I got to have a trusted, colleague. I'm not going to refer my client to some chump.
We're just step one. We don't. So when I tell people is I'm just one source. I've made partnerships with others to be able to have you go to, and I'm constantly connecting with others because I don't want you all stuck in my class. Y'all can't all fit. We got 20 people now, and I'm like calling folks going, hey, straight up, I got some folks that need to get on your level. I'll be upgrading some people in their education. They ready to come to you. Boom, over the other side, and we keep it rolling. Now I got free seats. And guys, I had to learn that to scale, I needed to be more than one person, one organization, one entity. And Cornell bring that back. You, me, George. We all said something very powerful at that time. We all could do what each other did. We all have the technical know-how pretty much. But did we want to do it all? Do I want to do what Cornell does? Does Cornell want to do what I do? Do we either one of us want to do what George do? We don't want to do it all. We wanted to do what was us and be able to have the power to actually refer out business to someone we trust and make ourselves bigger than we were.
Yes. And to build a thriving community in which to do that business. Because if my community isn't thriving, who needs me to develop a platform for them?
Yes.
Just like Henry Ford was not a nice guy, but he was one of the first major corporate, titans to pay his workers a fair wage. Why? Because he liked his workers? No, he didn't. Because who was going to buy the Model Ts?
Thank you.
There was only so many rich people. And once he sold all the cars to them, he didn't want to sell 1,000 cars. He wanted to keep selling cars. Ford Motor Company exists to this day. This is what the billionaires who nowadays are forgetting. If y'all are the ones who have all the money, who's going to shop at Walmart if ain't nobody got a job?
Thank you.
Who's going to buy a Tesla, Elon, if no one has a job?
Exactly.
This is why when Lee Iacocca took over the company, he went back to the Henry Ford formula. We don't need to sell the most expensive car. We just need to sell the cars to the people who will drive them.
Sell the most.
Right.
And people get mad. We're not making profit. No, but we're in existence. We're selling volume, and we got the customers happy, and they're coming back and buying more than one vehicle.
That was
more than one.
It's like it's like Mac versus Windows. Anyone who objectively will tell you that Macintosh is a better operating system than Windows is. Windows is not the best operating system, but it's the best selling operating system. And that's why it's on more desktops than Macs are. Because Bill Gates was like, I'm not trying to be the best. I want to be on, every desktop that's out there. I want to be in businesses. I want to be in homes. I want to be in schools.
That's how he made his money.
Thank you.
He wanted it in the most places. So he took, in my opinion, on Roy Kroc. Roy Kroc was like, I ain't got to have the best burger, but I want to have the most burgers sold. And so we need more real estate. And that's what Bill Gates decided. He needed more real estate, more desktops to put his desktop on.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And he did.
Yes. And remember what McDonald's used to do on their signs? They would post how many billions of hamburgers they sold.
Yes.
It wasn't about the quality. It's like, yo, see how many y'all ain't sold no billions of hamburgers, but we did. And see that number keep going up.
And it's not
now I would say yes. Yeah, I would say now between quality and quantity, go for both.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying sell a bunch of slop and like this AI slop that we're seeing on YouTube Shorts and Facebook Shorts. That is the way how not to use AI. But see, this is good because just like the internet had to boom and bust, and now we're here on the internet.
Yes,
okay, but this is not what the internet was doing in 2003.
No.
Okay. So what AI is doing now, a lot of, hey, have an AI to fire your people and have AI do your tech support. No.
God, no.
So that bubble's got to go. Okay, and then people are like, okay, that's the stupid way to do AI, artificial intelligence, but that's not very intelligent. And then when that bubble booms and pops, then the shakedown's going to come, and we're going to get to the second phase of AI and things like Notebook LM and things like people who understand that AI is the amplifier of my brain, not a substitute for my intelligence. And then we're going to see the true, because it ain't going anywhere. Emerging technology is always disruptive, and we always get it wrong the first time that we do it. But see, we who are in inside baseball, we understand, sit back, use it right, wait for everybody else, wait for that house of cards to fall.
Cards come forward, and then start stacking again. Because it's not that you throw the baby out with the bathwater. You just kind of got to wait for a minute. And that's how I do all the time. I sit back on investments that way. I'm like, I'm gonna take a look at that for a minute. All right. And if I see there's enough people, y'all is getting some use case. Trip a couple of dollars in, see what happens, see how it moves. See, these are things that we actually teach in the classroom because too many people are teaching that fast money. We're gonna get you money now. I'm teaching you that any money has to grow over time, and everything you invest in has to have a long-term use. If you got to know exactly uses. Some things we use are short term, but you got to know the difference. Too many of us are sold long-term dreams on short-term things, and that's for someone's purpose. So I would try to bring people back to understand that's where we talk about literacy. There's a difference between literacy and information.
Yes.
They're totally different. And learning, and I should say learning or getting and learning, because a lot of people, I get it. I got it. I read that book. When I read The Richest Man in Babylon, I live The Richest Man in Babylon. I ain't sitting there reading somebody getting wealthy on steps I could take. I'm going to try it. That's my manual.
Right.
Now we are
and otherwise, don't get caught up in those pump and dump scams, because that's what too much people are day trading like the market is a casino, rather than investing to grow their wealth. And as you say, you use that term, stress that again, use case. If the thing you're investing in doesn't have utility, it doesn't have value. And if it doesn't have value in the long run, it's not going to grow. It's not going to multiply, because it's just a short-term thing. And it's all these pump and dump hype train, rolling out the station.
I want to make sure that we have multiple, like I said, we have multiple platforms. I want to make sure I play this bubble beforehand. I think we got some love from Miss Shelby.
Grand Risings. And hey, Mr. Fireman.
Oh, Lord. She always catches the fireman. She's in Oklahoma, one of our sisters from Oklahoma who is part of our platform for P2G since like day one. She's one of the young ladies who holds this down. I love her. Grand Rising, Miss Shelby, we see you. I didn't even hear it. I've become like ear blind to it because I don't even notice the fire department anymore. You know, they're right next door. But shout out to the FY and what is it? It's the FDNY. The FDNY.
We are coming to you live from the Big Apple, NYC.
Seriously, y'all getting them live. That's live real. We ain't playing no sound effects. These folks is out there saving lives in the cold. So
yes,
much love for them. Every time
we definitely got to do this again.
Yes.
We definitely got to come back.
Ooh, I love it.
When you get your second book out and printed, and
yes,
the next installment of the Failure Guide comes through, we definitely got to come back and bring you on.
Yeah.
And have this out in public and bring. I hope you guys had a great time with Breakfast with Thomas today. We had an awesome thing. Cornelia, it's been a pleasure having you on. And I
gotta play this one more time. Can I play this one,
my friends?
Just real quick, any closing thoughts you want to leave the people with before we roll out?
Well, as I say, I'll leave you guys how I end each Failure Guide podcast. Remember that life is not a competition, and the only race that you're running is with yourself, and the only person you need to compare yourself with is who you were yesterday. And remember if you want to look at life as a race, never quit. Keep running.
Awesome.
All right, y'all, let's go. Hey,
thank you.
Have a good one, y'all.
It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize.
Mental
wellness Monday. Work it out Wednesday. Pay it forward Friday. We're seizing the day. Digital finance, harmony of love, serving food to what goes.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for doing it. Hey, come on, get on the show. Let's go. Y'all come on over. Let us know.
Breakfast with the Thomases, come eat with me.